Chào mừng các bạn đến chương trình ArchTV. Hôm nay chúng ta sẽ gặp gỡ với kiến trúc sư Sanuki Daisuke từ công ty SDA.
Yeah.
So, where were you born?
I was born in the Toyama Prefecture in Japan, north of Japan.
Yeah. What led you to architecture?
From the junior high school and high school,
Yes.
I want to become like designer,
Yeah.
some artist or some filmmaker. Like I like a film, so
Yeah.
I want to make a filmmaker. And but my score of the high school is just like focus on the like a science course,
Yeah.
So that's why I have to choose about science course.
Yes.
But in Japan, the science course and can design is only just like a two facility,
Yeah.
like only the architecture department and some industrial design.
Oh, yes, it is.
But I choose the architect.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about before in high school. Just like that I want to enjoy in that like a design of like the interesting and the cool design or something in the high school age. And but I come to I said I entered the high school.
Yes.
I entered the university as architecture department.
Yes.
I meet my boss, but I learn from many issues in the university, and I know that the architecture is not so easy.
Yeah.
Not like just like a cool design.
Yeah.
It's very deep, like I said, a category of the design.
Yeah.
What I was interested in, so I become this one as a maker, like I continue to the architecture design.
Okay. So, which university did you study, and what's the major?
It's my my biography is very strange, And I was graduate from Tokyo Science University, not Tokyo University, Tokyo Science University. After that, I moved to the master course.
Yes.
2 years, and after that, doctor course 3 years.
Yeah.
And after that, I become assistant professor.
Oh my God.
So 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years. So the total is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
The fourth year?
14 or 15 years. I went to the one university.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's very like
So major is
major
architecture.
architecture.
Yeah.
Architecture.
Okay, I see. So, which Japanese traditional architecture do you like more?
I like a lot of like a Japanese traditional building, not only the like a temple or like but also like like a garden as well.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of like a good like a traditional style of design in Japan, especially in the Kyoto city. And Ginkakuji and Ginkakuji and Sanju Sangendo is a lot of many like a very famous and traditional, beautiful building you can see. I would like to visit again.
So you like a big city?
Yeah.
Kyoto.
Kyoto.
Yeah. So in your opinion, what is the core value of the Japanese traditional architecture?
I think about like we have two like a core value. I think, and I say first one is like I say very like the space of like a traditional architecture building is very different from the contemporary, and they can be very like quiet and like can feel about nature, like natural nature. Sometimes that to listen from sometimes that you can see that some space for listening about water fall down or something. And it's very like the people's like the mind is calm down and feel very like refreshing and to change the mind. And this like I said the space of like Japanese traditional building is very like different from the another country's traditional building. I think it's like I said, make some. We can learn from a lot of like space from from them.
Yeah.
Second issue is like I said, a very long lifestyle about the building, and there's long history.
Yes.
It's have like a very valuable itself, because for example, maybe you can believe it about like 300 years before the timber building is still living, we can see still living. In Japan, a lot of earthquake, but it's still like still we can see. Of course, they are making maintenance many times, but as the main structure is not great.
Did not collapse.
And there's a lot of detail, and we can. We have there's a lot of history. So that in the history, so age is also different, make a different style. So that we can. I'm the contemporary architect, but we can feel about way before 300 years before. It's a contemporary, and we can feel about like their way of the thinking or something. We can feel. It's very good.
Yes.
And I think about this high technique about like the timber building is very they are a lot of like a high technique. And I think about maybe the Japanese like the modern building and the contemporary building is a very high technique. It's related about like a traditional like say the Japanese design as well. Maybe it's very like tend to about detail. And it's very like important for like architecture, Japanese to read about architecture, Japanese architecture design.
Okay. That means a lot of architecture and architect from Japan is learned from your history building, right?
I don't know the actually about they learn or not, but I say maybe they can feel and they can receive some feeling or something.
Get inspired.
Get inspired or something.
So, who is the most favorite one in Japan architect?
It's very hard to say who is favorite, but I have a lot of like I said the favorite architect and respectable architect in Japan all over the world too. And but I want to say about my favorite architect is my boss. His name is Kojima Kazuhiro. He's a very famous architect in Japan, and he unfortunately passed away last year.
So,
but I said he makes a lot of like I said influence to the Japanese young architect, and like me about like he has a lot of students too, So and I was staying about 15 years in one university, and mean about I was staying with him 15 years.
He also the professor in this university.
He was a professor.
A professor and also architect.
I was an assistant professor, so like his assistant professor.
Okay, I see. So, what led you to move to work and live in Vietnam?
And okay, please. And I said maybe I come to Vietnam about 2009. End of 2009, and because there's a lot of the many country has been damaged in the 2008. And the economic trouble in the Lehman shock, And I said in Vietnam is also has damage, but like in Japan it's also same. Young architects don't have any working.
Any
working. The work is everything stopped on the way. And 2000, I was like my assistant professor is like I said, it's limited until 2009. So 2008. So I was thinking about the 4 options. One is about I will Mr. Kojima to invite me,
Yeah.
to his company,
Yeah.
to be the staff.
Yeah.
And this is one option one.
Yeah.
And second is about like we will and we can try to find like another architect as a staff.
Yes.
And number three is I will do by myself.
Yeah.
And number four is I will try to find an academic position for another university.
Oh.
And number five. Number five.
There are five options.
Five options. Number five is that I will go to another country to look for that chance for the architecture design.
Yes.
But luckily at that time, Bochum had to call me about to become the partner.
Yeah.
And to
in his company.
In his company and to develop about some design and the stuff skill or something. And it's very very exciting. So the five options, but number five is most interesting for me. So that's why I choose it.
Yeah.
And it's very good chance because before from the beginning I was some project in another country in Japan.
Yeah.
Example like in Vietnam, Taiwan and Hong Kong, something. And most of all is about not built project, unbuilt project. But I said I would like to have a chance to go abroad. I always do think like this one, so that's why it's good chance. So I appreciate about Mr. Nie to invite me to go to this country.
And why did the ham house client find and assign you to design their house?
Yeah, the client is the Vietnamese wife and Japanese husband, young couple, and they have some small areas in the hem.
Yeah.
And they know that about my previous design, like a stacking green and Jalai house and An house. I designed it before, and they know that very simple and like I said, not so much boring but simple and like I said, beautiful and to think about natural ventilation and natural resource too. And so that's why they want to ask us and they want to ask me to try to make about their house design.
So how did you react to this opportunity?
Yeah, and I went to hit their land. It's very quite small, about just 4 meter by 12 meters, so around 50 square meter. But its interesting point is in the hem. We have this side is in the corner of the hem.
Yes.
One hem wide of the hem is 2.3 meter. The other one is 1.7 meter.
Too small.
It's too small. It's crazy. How to make a building though? I was very exciting about in this condition. And I go to the next stage about to go around to walking and to see about to investigate about a hem condition, the house in the hem condition, and what's how do they live it, But for like a tourist or like a foreigner, everybody think about it's very interesting because sometimes we can see their life of with the clothes, the drying clothes in the balcony, and there are a lot of the greenery. But it's very interesting, and I cannot see through. So it's also the one interesting point.
Outside activities.
Outside activities very interesting. But actually, if we focus on the inside, it's not so nice, Example there's they have to keep a security at first, so they have to make about mesh for to stop to protect from the thief, and the hem house is very small, so that they don't like to make it about the direct sunlight, and that's because it's become hot, so that they always to make about smoke glass, and they have to keep a privacy too, so that's why the not clear glass, the smoke black
Yeah.
color glass or something.
Oh.
So the in the in the daytime as well, they are using about electric lighting. So it's very not so nice. So they recommend, and I talk with our client. Okay, let's try to make about the enjoying hem house. You know?
Yes.
It's the first point about we are trying to think.
Okay, so you are purchasing for the new
Yeah.
line.
So
couple.
so we try to make about the how to make the new life for like in a hem. Not we can keep our privacy, and we can keep security and not so much hot temperature.
Yeah.
So that's why we try to make it about like very focus on the envelope of the building.
I see. And we do like your answer from your VTV 24 interview. It goes, my architecture does not focus on eye-catching beauty, the form of the building. So what architecture do you focus?
I believe that about like architectural design is not only about like say the eye-catching beautiness, but also there's a lot of the thing we have, you know. Example, like the people, how people can feel the outside envelope, and how we can listen from what we can listen from the inside something, and I said what we can when we can the people enter about the door, what is the atmosphere will be changed, and the wind pass through, and what the people can feel it inside. It's also one important thing. And my boss said about the 20 centuries the design and 21 centuries the architecture design are different. 20 centuries the design that tend to the eye-catching, the beautiness most of all. But because this century is very different because we can find the beautiful house in the internet a lot, you know. It's very quickly, you know. It means but it's very good thing we can share all the design, but only about eye-catching beautiness or something is it's become boring, and in the future, you know, and not so much core the issue for the architecture design. But so that's what I think about. My boss also says that I think about 21st century about not only what we can see, but also I said that how example the wind pass through, and the lighting come, and sound, and the people's activity too, and what we can do. So example, I like Jeffrey Bauer's 33 Lane house, you know, in Sri Lanka. Jeffrey Bauer. And this house is a lot of the hole in the house. You know, this is a 2-story or 3-story building. And when about the sun direction to move it, about the inside also everything is changing. You know? And this is cannot see it about in the pictures. But when I visit here, oh wow, it's crowded. Everything can be changed. You know, there's a lot of the holes. It's very fantastic and exciting for my architecture design thinking. You know, it was more than 10 years before.
So that means there are some kind of architecture you cannot see through the picture or photo.
Sure.
You have to feel it. You have to live inside.
Example it's very interesting story. My boss to teach in my university, Mr. Kojima, and he said about you always read about the book like this one, like blah 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 or something. No, you should read about this one, the 3 minutes, one pictures. And if you see about 3 minutes in the pictures about it's become some image is to change about the space or something, you know. The image to to aid some of the information more.
Yeah.
And not only that, for example, why they make about like this one, it's become like a writing to I understand or something, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And the internet is also, we can see the quick and to change. Right? But actually the important thing is not only the photo, but also like I said, to try to, to fill the space, you know.
Yeah.
But we don't have enough time for going many places, so that's why the Kojima-san said that about to see.
Oh, I see. You know, in Vietnam we call that internet architecture. Yeah.
Yeah. Before that, but 20 years before, 30 years before, it's called about paper architecture or something.
Oh, paper architecture. Okay, everyone look at magazine and they learn something, right?
Yeah.
So in Ham House, the facade, thin decoration of window is a concentric cycle or elegant seaways or traditional Sujaya design detail from Japan. Is it a signature in your space or your architecture?
正解派。正解派じゃ traditional ukiyo-e, right? Maybe you said.
Yeah.
This one is sorry, this is not related to anything.
No.
But I think about like when I try to go around by walk and to see about many like a pattern, you know. And we catch it and to choose it and pick up by photo and to collect it as a collection. And this is okay. We can try to use it this one. So I think about like this is also I said and I also try to find about like some like a Vietnamese traditional pattern as well, like a circle to mix together or something. So we follow from the about Vietnamese traditional pattern motif.
So that is to try to match with the surrounded pattern.
Surrounding pattern and the Vietnamese motif.
Vietnamese motif also. Yeah, I see. The flat simple wall of Ham House is influenced by brutalism or suggests from the minimal style from Japan tea house. Can you explain that?
I'd say that it's very difficult to explain, but in this house, it's just like a 4 meter by 12 meter. It's quite small area, you know? And when I start about design, and of course I try to make some tricky space about like a stepping the floor or something. I try to think, you know.
Yes.
But finally I changed to make everything simple. Just like a floor height is different. Because I said this is a hem house, you know.
Yes.
The hem envelope design is the most important point. So that's why if we make it about like I said to change so much about like to make a boy, it's not so like I said good for, cannot see so much about the concepts easily. And I said one important thing, this is not about Japanese house. Japanese house is quite small space to try to make a tricky house or something like. But this is Vietnam, you know. I think about we don't need to make about a crazy house in Vietnam.
Does that mean you mean contemporary Japanese house, right?
The contemporary Japanese house is, for example, Tokyo is very narrow area.
Narrow and very
small.
crazy.
And very like I said, the cost is very limited. Everybody try to make about crazy the shape of the building or something. But I think about in Vietnam, it's not so much like I said the good way, because it's a context is different. Tokyo and Ho Chi Minh City context is different, you know. If about we have like the hem context, we can choose it concentrate this one. It's much more like I think about it's become more like a special to the in Vietnamese design. So that's why I make a flat. I tried to make up many options to make a void shape or something, but you know about the 50 square meter, the small area. If we cut the void, it's no meaning, right? It's not so good for like as a life, you know. I try to make about straight and to focus on only the envelope and the window design.
Envelope and window. So this is the keyword for the hem house.
Sure.
Okay. So do you think your two new house, Ham House, Binh Thanh House, are showing your upgrading compared to your previous works, which you did associate with Vietnamese architect?
But associate architect in which Virginia, right? Mr.
Maybe someone you work with?
I was working with Mr. Nye as a Virgin, like the partner, you know.
Yeah.
And I was doing about some project in there, and I will establish our company, S plus NA, and we do that some project in there as well.
Yeah.
And now that I change about rename to the company to the SDA, and S plus NH and SDH is maybe similar, but it's different from the Virgin US architecture.
Yeah.
Before I said I was come here and I came to the Vietnam and to start about design and stacking greenhouse.
Yeah.
It's very become interesting project and challenging project. But at that time, I don't so much think about like the building and Vietnamese housing about detail, context or something, not so much. Of course, I try to find some like the Vietnamese good essence for the urban design or something, and to use for like I said the stacking green. But I said now and the house and the hem house and like I said midtown houses also. We try to think more carefully like Vietnamese like the context and the essence of like Vietnamese special point. This is about like it's a bit different from the Virgin US architect age. I was designing but I said the way of the thinking is a bit different.
Yeah. So new approaching and new style.
New style, and I will like to try to pick more for the Vietnamese good point. You know, this is very different from before.
Yeah, you want to. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go like new point.
Because I think about Vietnamese is a development country, and I love this country, and but sometime we can see about like I said example. I don't know can I say like this one or not, but I said example new development area or something, you know, to example highlights building a lot to copy and paste, and sometimes like from the Singapore style to bring it here.
Yes.
And everything is to demolish and to make about a new development, you know. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes the around 100 pillar to copy in one area or something.
Yeah.
But actually in Japan, so there is also have like this like say the history around 1917 age and 1918 age about like a new developer to make a lot of like
I see that there are a lot of style architects that style in Japan before. Right?
Yeah, and but I said I think about all the development is like not so much like the unique, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe this country or the Kuala Lumpur is also the same design possible, you know.
Yeah.
But I think about we should to try to find about Vietnamese regional like a good point, and architect have to look for, and discover, rediscover to pick again, and to make about a good design and the city as well, you know. So that's why I think about I changed my mind and I try to find about a good point in the Vietnamese like the culture, like the environment too.
Yeah.
This is I still like thinking about this one.
Oh, okay, I see. So how you try to bring architecture, human closer, and connect them to the nature. So what do you think about the philosophy and the relationship between architecture, human, and nature?
Oh, okay. This is an important question. Hem house is how say I think about the architecture and the people and the human is also like I said in the urban area it's about like city is very important, you know.
Yeah.
So I said in the hem house is very we call the hem house because I want to make about to define how to make about the specialized the house in the hem, you know.
Yeah.
It's very important point, and I said maybe you can see about like a picture in the hem house out looking. It's very close and very like not so much window.
Yeah.
But actually, when you go enter the space is very wide, and the window size looks very big size.
Yeah,
You know?
very big size.
And I said this design is to try to get about like a natural resource, and for example, we make about the thick window, deep window, and to reflect lighting, reflecting lighting, and to try to get about not so much hot in the inside the building.
Yeah.
Not so much hot in the inside building, and we make about some pattern wall and to keep a privacy and security too.
Okay.
And we focus on like a natural the environment to use it. And we use about 2 window and 2 air pathway is also we practicing. But however, like I'm thinking about like this hem house. Important point is like I said, to house can be to face to the about like the city, you know. It's very important, like a message for me, you know. Usually the house is to stop from the city, because like I said, that they have to keep our privacy and security too. But if the architecture design can make like open like to about the city, you know, it's not only about like a usage, but also like the philosophy of the architecture as well. The architecture design can be like to face to the about urban design too. This is a very like important point for like to thinking about. So we are always thinking about like context of like I said, the surrounding environment.
Yeah.
Like Stacking Green or another project, the apartment in Bintan is also how we can try to use it about Vietnamese local material for realize about like the interesting and unique design to rearrange. And there will be very long shape and a banana shape, and to have a void, and how do we define about void space for like I said, getting about ventilation natural resource.
Yes.
But this is also like related about like the urban design and the urban design. So that I said we think about the architects have to think not only about this building itself, but also the surrounding environment, something surrounding building, what it's become something. It's also very important. So I don't know, the hem house is become like the philosophy of relationship between architecture, people, nature, or something. But I think about like we are always to try to make some the rich lifestyle, the new lifestyle toward about Vietnamese futures, and to develop about like their life, and I said make about the special and a unique design we want to make try. We don't try to want to make it every time.
I see. So this is the final question.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining today.
Yeah.
Xin chào các bạn, là chương trình ArchTV phỏng vấn kiến trúc sư Daisuke hôm nay đã kết thúc, và xin hẹn gặp lại lần sau.
Thank you very much.